Tonight on a podcast from Beneath, we'll be discussing the horror that was Black Friday, and we'll also be talking about The Thing. So I'm here with Billy
How's it going?
and Eric.
Hey, you.
So all three of us work in retail, and we
Yes.
recently all three had to work Black Friday. How was it
Yeah.
for you guys?
Well, I think for you two, you guys probably had it worse. Like I didn't have to work any of the special items. Like I just had to work in my department, which I just stayed in the back room pretty much, and like cleaned.
Man, that's so lucky. There's so many
Yeah.
stupid people out today. Like, suddenly everybody forgot how to read. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's just,
unfortunately for my experience, I was outside from 6 p.m. till about 9:30.
would you do direct
Mm.
traffic?
Yeah, I was checking receipts for people picking up big item purchases.
Oh, like the
Oh, yeah.
TVs and stuff.
You
Yeah.
don't want somebody walking out with a 55 inch under their jacket. Nope, ship shape.
Right.
See you later.
Only thing I have to worry about is like meat.
You just play with the meat all day.
Yeah. Someone steals a ribeye, it's like, not my fault.
What? Just not my fault. Of course, it's not your fault. What?
But at least we all survived
Yeah, another
Black
year.
Oh,
Friday.
barely, I guess.
Yours probably had to be worse, Eric, because you're like in
Oh,
a
it
big.
sucked. I'm still like I just got home, like just like I don't know, like half hour ago, 40 minutes. Took a quick shower and hopped on here. Like I had like two 10 or 11 hour shifts. It was ridiculous. Like our store didn't even close. I know at your place that you work that will go unnamed. It's opened extended hours, but we didn't close last night, so I had to work till really late, sleep a little bit, and come back the next day. And even
Yeah.
now, I have to go in tomorrow morning super early, so I might have to leave the cast a little early so I can get enough sleep to get in
Right.
at 6.
Did you have to? Did you
But
get that? Did you get like time and a half or something like that? Did you stay over?
double on Thanksgiving,
Mm. We should
works
get
out
like
for me because I'm commission.
we should get like hazardous pay because working Black Friday is very hazardous.
Yeah.
Man, it's just talking to people just fried my brain because they're so fucking stupid. Like there was an argument, like a burst out argument to a mother who was too lazy to go to the elevator to take her stroller down, and she was trying to stuff it down the escalator with the kid still inside it. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Just because she was asked, no, you can't do that. Obviously, there's a child in that thing. Please use the elevator because that's what the elevator is for.
Now I have to get that perfume that's like $20. It's usually 100. I have to get it.
I gotta smell good.
I gotta smell good. This baby smells like shit. I think I've been to Black Friday once at the mall, and never again.
I've never done it.
Oh,
Before we move on to the main feature, I just wanted to give mention another podcast. These guys had sent us a message on Twitter just saying that they'd listened to our podcast and they really enjoyed it. And they gave us a mention in their last episode. So I'm going to do the same for them. They're called the Poe and Grim Podcast. You can
hey,
find
that's
them
cool.
on Twitter at Grim Poe. And then they're also hosted by Podbean, which is the same place that we're at. So,
Nice.
Where we're
Thank you,
trapped
guys.
forever. Please come help us.
yes.
Thank you for
But that's
name dropping us.
Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah,
But hey, since we're like interweaved between these podcasts now, I guess we're starting to develop a like a Podbean cinematic universe now.
that's right.
Right. Do some
Before you
crossovers.
know it, we'll have like a mega cast where nobody can get a word in edgewise.
Everybody says one word.
All right, so I would say the biggest fan of this movie is going to be Eric. If you just go ahead and start it off.
Oh, 1982's John Carpenter's Things. Yeah, I absolutely. It's probably my all-time favorite horror movie. It's something I can go back to. Excuse me, a little under the weather. That I can go back to and just watch. If I see it on TV, I just finish it no matter what. You know, that's my little cue that I know it's a great movie. I can just watch it whenever and be completely satisfied at all times.
Oh, I agree too. It's definitely one of my favorites too, man. Like John Carpenter back in his prime made some great, great movies, and this is just one of them.
And I feel so bad because he at the time was ridiculously underrated by critics at the time,
Yeah, this movie
which
got
kind of
destroyed by the
which kind of
critics.
pushed his movies, yeah, which kind of pushed his movies into the shadows a little bit.
So the thing, it's a remake, right? It's a remake from a thing from another planet, right? Or is that just hearsay
Tec-
or a rumor?
Technically, yeah, it is a remake. Still follows the same general idea, but it takes that idea and put throws it into a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more based on the original book or the original story
Plus, there's
that the other movie was based on.
yeah. Plus, there's not a lot of doors opening and shutting.
Right.
Yeah. Which is the best way to do a remake. I've said this before in this cast that the '80s has a ton of great remakes of '50s classics that took a great idea and threw it into another great direction to where they're the same. They have the same title, they have the same premise, but they're two completely different movies, and they both stand on their own, and they're both completely watchable.
I agree.
Like you have the Thing, you have the Blob. What was it? The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Fly. You know, I got all
Mm.
kinds of great movies, and the Thing stands, I think, above them all. Well, John Carpenter's The Thing, of course. I hate that I have to amend that every time.
Right.
John Carpenter's thing. You want to think about? Are they talking about the remake? The other
Yeah,
remake?
and some jerk off, just like a passerby, is like, some guy's talking about this other guy's thing. What the hell?
But where do they film the remake? Or not, John Carpenter's the thing.
Not sure, really.
I think it was basically filmed on sets.
Oh, really?
I feel like they must have filmed it somewhere up north in like Canada, especially the exteriors.
Did you know it was the budget was 15 million and the gross in the USA was 13 million?
Oh, that's a shame. That's a
I
damn
know.
shame.
I mean, I bet you the worldwide, if they had it all together, I bet you it's a lot better. But
Oh, principal photography for exteriors was shot in Juneau, Alaska, the capital city.
mm, Juno.
No, not that Michael Cera movie.
Oh. Um. What really with this movie? What really like was there any certain parts that you're like, wow, I fucking love this movie, or was it just the whole movie? And
Man, it's damn near the whole movie. I even love the ending we'll get to and the ambiguity of it. It's just such. It's a great toss up between the movie giving you information and keeping it up to your imagination. So there's always a great line of tension for the entire hour and a half or so. Excuse me.
yeah, Yeah, it's one of those
I,
movies like the ending, like that. You know, a lot of the endings like that will piss you off, but like it doesn't. Like this one doesn't, at least for me. And I'm
I
sure
mean, like
y'all.
I can see how it could because it doesn't give any answers or anything, but it's such a great movie. You almost want to think about it afterwards, so you can kind of make up your own ending, or we can do like we're doing now and just discuss it with other people. It's really fun.
Yeah,
I think what has got me with this movie was obviously the location, isolation. There's no escape once the helicopter gets destroyed. I mean, they are stuck there.
and it's freezing.
It's true.
Any any other horror movie, slasher movie, or you have this option to get out of there. You
But
can
they
you
never do.
Camp Crystal Lake is always a hop, skip, and a jump
Spoiler.
from another town you can get out of. But with this movie, these guys are stuck there.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
stuck in the middle of Antarctica in one of those scientific
Research bunker.
yeah.
You know, for the longest time, I didn't know the guy that did the diabetes commercial was
Wilford
in
Brimley.
it.
Wilford
Yeah,
Brimley.
forgot that he was Doctor Blair. Is it Blair? I think it's Blair.
Yeah, those commercials kind of ruin that for the movie, just because every time he's on screen, I'm just like, diabetes.
Diabetes. What happened to you, Wilford Brimley? You had such a career.
Oh, but two of my favorite actors are in it. Kurt Russell and Keith David. I think they were the my favorite in this movie, and just two of my favorite actors overall.
Keith David's in a lot of stuff. I do like him. He played another John Carpenter's movie too.
Oh, they live.
Yeah, he also did a voice on the Gargoyles TV show.
Yeah, I know they did a really like fun thing. If anybody's familiar with the Saints Row games, is
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
in the first Saints Row, and I think the second one too, Keith David played a character, but then in Saints Row 4, he played aside that character, but also himself. So he was a character and himself. Yeah.
Like
I never got
Inception or something.
It was great. It's such a fun game.
gaming.
But
He's a character in a character.
yeah,
I never got to play the fourth one, but yeah.
oh, it's worth it. You have a PS4, you should pick it up. It's super cheap.
Who's your favorite characters in the movie?
If you don't say McCready, I'm gonna burn your house down. That's just
Yeah,
annoying.
definitely McCready.
Yeah, that beard,
That
epic beard.
Macready beard.
Yeah. Also, what's his name? Um, the guy that gets like he's like in a chair. He's like, I don't like to be tied all winter tied to this fucking chair.
Oh yeah, the guy that looks like the sergeant from like Mash or whatever.
Yeah, I like his character too. But McCree's number one. Always number one.
He's just such a badass. So good.
Kurt Russell, great actor.
Like it looks like a movie where he's not even trying to do an impression of another actor. Like
No,
he's doing his John Wayne and Big Trouble or something like that.
they're the same character. But we gotta talk about the special effects in this movie.
Yeah, the practical effects in this movie,
They're mesmerizing. I
they
mean,
are
there's no
some of the
other
best.
word
Yeah,
to describe it. Like the ingenuity and how they just came up with some of the stuff. It's almost mind-boggling. It's crazy. It's so realistic and just disgusting.
yeah,
Yeah,
the special effects were done by Rob Bottin.
Yeah,
what else has he done?
The
he's
Howling.
actually yeah
Oh,
he's
the
done a lot
Howling.
of great
Okay.
stuff. I think he worked under Stan Winston for a good while.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I think Stan Winston also was like a, I guess, kind of supervised special effects on the thing.
Yeah, Botten was like on his special effects team, and I think if I'm not mistaken, John Carpenter wanted Stan Winston for the job, but Stan's like, no, this kid's really good, give him a shot, and this
Right.
is what he did.
He was 22 at the time.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, this kid pulled it out of his anus, and he was just like fresh out of high school.
To be that good at doing all that shit at the age of 22.
Absolutely.
What's the best like special effects scene that you love in this movie?
Uh, I want to say it, but I don't know if it's like too early to bring it up. But it's the defibrillator scene.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That shit is insane. That's like on par with like the chest bursting scene from Alien.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I thought one of the most traumatizing scenes, and still it just makes me feel weird when I see it, is when the dogs are getting like taken by that thing or getting absorbed by it or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, like when it was
That's
like when it was in between, like they're
yeah,
not quite ready. That scene apparently that animatronic slash puppet took fucking forever to fabricate, and it's only in the movie for like 15 seconds or whatever like that.
yeah. It was a very. I remember watching as a kid, like like being at that age. Oh my god, what are they doing to the dogs? But yeah, that was very like brutal and just uneasy scene for me as a child. Was that scene right there? But my favorite is
I don't
the defibrillator. You
I don't think I watched this movie as a kid. It was definitely something I saw in high school.
I'm
man, just
trying to remember. I think I saw it when I was pretty young.
I wonder if like when he did this, if people asked him, "Hey, you can do a sequel?"
Oh
Or
my god, please let the sequel just be like, oh man, I don't want to spoil that
Mc-
either.
McCree, just two guys talking.
Yeah, I was just gonna say just like Kurt Russell and Keith David just hanging out in the cold.
Yeah. Should we have
And just
shot
it's
already?
it's just
Yeah,
called
I
No
know.
Thing,
Yeah.
just nothing.
Nothing. I think we're on to something.
Uh, excuse me.
So this movie was made in what was it, 1983 or no wait, 82.
It was produced in '81 for a release in '82.
So this was this right after Hall he did Hall or did he do something before this?
Nah, I think
Well,
he'd already done Escape from New York. I think he'd already done that one.
Let's see.
yeah, that was
And
actually
maybe,
came out the year before.
yeah.
Oh, and the
And I
fog
think,
just before that too.
hmm I'm trying to remember when Big Trouble came out.
I think it came in
86.
85, 86.
86. I'm just gonna put this out there. I am not a fan of Escape from New York. Well, hey, don't turn off the podcast just so soon. We're talking about the thing.
Yeah.
Still fantastic. Yeah, fucks.
Yeah, fuck. Now, do you know how many days this movie took to make?
About 12 weeks.
12 weeks. Probably because of the special effects.
Maybe. I don't know. Back then they could get away with shorter movie times. I mean, apparently John Carpenter is an extremely efficient director. He can just pump out a movie in next to no time and still have a quality product.
Yeah. I like the tagline for this. It was look closely at your neighbor. Trust no one. They might be the thing. It was from the UK video box.
Mm,
Man is the warmest place to hide.
I like that tagline. Or
And
the
then
always classic
the ultimate
cheating bitch.
ultimate in alien terror.
Well, that's a
And
spoiler.
then and then there's another called Anytime, Anywhere, Anyone.
John Carpenter's The
The
Raid.
third.
No.
So how old were you when you saw this, Gary?
I'm not sure. I don't remember how exactly how old it was. I was pretty young though.
Did you just like rent it, or did you actually get to see it in theaters?
No, I would have rented it.
I would love to see these type of movies, like when they actually came out. I wish I was old enough to, or alive, I should say, to see some of these movies in theaters when it first happened because it
Yeah, I
must have
thought
been
you were gonna say that you
crazy.
saw it in theaters.
I'm actually 55, guys. Okay, I had the Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah, the original story that was based on was called Who Goes There.
Is it actual? Is it a short story? Is it like a novel or a book or?
Just a short story.
Um,
I think it was in like a science fiction magazine.
it's
No,
crazy that people like see a short story and just turn it into like 90 pages.
or take a short story and turn it into three fucking overlong movies.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention anybody's name, especially from New Zealand.
Well, another short story. What was it? In the Heart of Darkness was based for Apocalypse Now, and it's like 20 pages.
Jeez,
Yeah.
a lot of napalm in the morning.
No, it's not even about a war. It's about like ivory hunting, like ivory hunters or
Oh
something.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. What's his name? Coppola wanted to make it more contemporary, so he put it in the
Yeah.
Vietnam War.
So the thing, the, I mean, I really can't talk shit about this movie like we have like the other movies. I mean, they're good, but there's stuff we can complain about. But this movie, like,
There's okay, like I said this earlier. This is probably my favorite horror movie of all time, but I can still shit on it. There's still some fun that can be had with this movie. Just that breakdown that Wilford Brimley has in the little medical office when he's just going fucking crazy and trashing the place
oh
is
yeah,
it's hilarious. There's no way I can take that seriously.
one of my favorite parts is when that dude's head's walking, and the guy's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me."
That's a little creepy. Got that little foreskin looking guy just crawling away.
So, what do you think of the score of this movie that Carpenter did? Carpenter did do the score, didn't he?
He did not.
Oh, he didn't. Was it? No, is it Ennio Morricone?
Was it his
Is it
son
him?
again?
I just saw here, and I'm trying to find it now.
I was thinking maybe it was Ennio Morricone. I figured out too.
Yeah, and Morricine.
He's the one that did all the westerns by Sergio Leone.
Wow, he went from this great orchestral, what is it, something of gold?
Hmm.
Ecstasy of Gold.
Yeah, ecstasy of gold to just bum bum. Bum bum.
He's also done a few Quentin Tarantino's. I can't believe he's still alive. To be honest with
Oh, what are you trying to say? He's next?
you, he's next
Can't believe he's alive. Fix that.
because he's not going to outlive Roger Corman.
No, yep, there we go. Putting that quarter in the jar right now. Blink.
I wonder why that he didn't. This is like the only one he's only the only movie he did
I
that
think
like
it's
he didn't actually do the score to.
yeah, I think it's the only one that he's never scored.
It's still fantastic. It's so
Yeah.
foreboding and just weird.
I'm sure he had something to do with it. It's like, here, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm gonna tell you how to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can
if there's only
definitely.
one bump, it's like, hey, I need to have two.
Yeah.
Let's mix it up, huh?
What's that guy's
Yep.
name in here? Windows. What a
Yeah.
name.
We got Windows, then you got Mac.
uh, uh.
Windows is the one that had the beard, right? It's got pretty, pretty. Yeah, it is. And then the guy from the original It, I forgot he's in it. He played the guy that had the dogs, who everybody thought that he was the
oh,
like, yeah,
the guy that was
played Clark.
taking the. Yeah, he was in charge of the kennel.
Yeah, everybody thought that he was you know, the thing. He ended up not being it. His name was Richard Mazer or Mazer. I don't know how you say it.
Dick Mauser. I don't know.
Dick Mazer.
But anyhow, the movie starts super beautifully. There's a lot of landscape shots and a lot of establishing. It just starts a very cold movie. Um, Camera pans across like a snowy landscape, which is supposed to be Antarctica, and dog comes by and helicopter follows it. Definitely raises a lot of questions just from the get go.
Yeah, why are they shooting at this dog?
Yeah, who's this asshole?
What did
This
this
man
dog do to
hates this
him?
dog.
That
Yeah.
dog killed his whole family.
Yeah,
The
because
guy,
it's a little bit of a soft spot, People love dogs, and it's like, why is this jackass just trying to take a pop shot at him?
what did this dog do to him? Shit in his cereal,
Yeah, take a
or his,
big old doggy dump in his Cheerios. Now he's all pissed about it.
yeah, took his shit in his cocoa. Now he's not gonna get warm because there's shit in it. So yeah,
Yes, the
he's
dog
chasing the
gets chased
dog,
all the way to the American base.
Yeah.
and then they all start running out there too. See what the
What is
commotion,
this ruckus?
yeah, what the commotion was about. And then what happens?
Well, I do believe I guess Norwegian guy we find out later on, um, he gets killed because everybody's just like, why is this guy being all fucking crazy? Well, he's dead now.
No,
Can't
he's
have
dead.
that.
The helicopter blows up, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that later on when they try to escape? Like there's just a big fire, whoever the thing was made or whatever. Or
Yeah,
was it Wilford Brimley did it or something?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
got destroyed. Yeah.
Who shot the Norwegian guy?
The guy that you liked that was tied to a chair,
Okay.
the
Uh,
military-looking guy.
Bennings was it?
Yeah, he's like the captain of the group, technically, of the whole scientific operation.
Yeah. She
You
shoots.
see, and you think like if you think about this whole movie could have been wrapped up pretty easily if anybody else in the American camp understood what this Norwegian guy was saying.
Yeah. But none of them spoke Norwegian. So they just shot him and then asked questions later. It's how Americans think.
Right.
Mm, It's the most American thing that's ever happened in Antarctica since Happy Feet 2.
Happy feet too. But yeah, they kill the Norwegian guy. They take the dog into the kennel.
And they're like, oh man, nothing could possibly go wrong here, guys. It's a dog.
Isn't McCready like playing a game while he's drinking? They're like, something's happened, McCready. Or no, he dumps the whiskey or something on the computer.
On
Yeah,
the computer, yeah.
And he
he's
loses.
playing a chess game. He has
Yeah.
like an old fashioned or something, and he loses and dumps it in the little mainframe. Cheating bitch.
And then they run over. They see the horrific scene of the dogs just getting absorbed or getting copied, and it's
Yeah.
just, oh man, it's so horrific to me. I think it's crazy.
Yeah,
And
like I
that
said earlier, apparently that was a really expensive, really time-consuming prop, and it's only in the movie just like a blink of an eye.
was the guy that
Yep.
said Richard Mauser. He was like, no, no, don't shoot him. He was still
And
worried about the. I was like, dude.
straight up gets one of the flamethrowers.
No, I'm pretty sure one of the dogs gets out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And they just set those bad boys in flames.
but that does give us our first little insight on what the thing might be because they do some experimentations on it and stuff, and they run it through the computers quote marks that they have down there.
It's what drove Wilford Brimley crazy.
Yeah.
Now, was this was after they go to the Norwegian base, right?
They did.
Or is this all before that?
They saw what happened. They killed the
Yeah,
thing.
it was right after because after the guy's dead, they pat him down and find like where he's from and stuff.
So they go to the Norwegian base, and then they find that frozen. Right?
Well, they go to the base and it's all like just
It's
destroyed
destroyed.
kinda and stuff,
Yeah.
like kind of burnt out a little bit, and there's just like dead people strewn about.
And then
And they're
they
like,
find.
well, that's kind of bad. We should get back and kind of warn everybody because I think we're in deep shit now.
Yeah. Because yeah, they find the burning. They find that
Oh yeah,
they found that body of like just two faces,
Hmm.
yeah.
and they're like, let's take it back.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what happens. Because after they get back, they rush back to the American camp. That's when they catch the dog halfway in transformation. They kill it with the flamethrower, and that's when they do their little investigation, their little like what's the word, autopsy or something.
Yeah. And then about after they is it before Wilford Brimley goes crazy while he's like doing the autopsy and shit. Him and that one guy.
I think so because he starts to like get it in his head like it's almost like the perfect organism or whatever. You know, it could be any one
Yeah.
of us. You know, it could be me. It could be you.
And like they sedate him and put him in that room.
Yeah,
See
his
if he
little
tries to
diabetic
rebound it.
chamber
Yeah.
where he has a hissy fit later on. It's so good. Like when he tries to throw the table, it makes me laugh every damn time.
Wilford Brimley, don't get mad. You got diabetes. So then,
Excuse me.
I'm trying to remember what comes after this. After they lock Wilford Brimley up, is it when they start doing the blood test?
I think he's still locked up at the
No, because
time because
they
he
got to.
wasn't there at the blood test. No,
Okay, yeah, because
but he does go
they
missing though.
yeah yeah and then they were who they tied up? They tied up Jennings and they tied up anybody else. I think they tied almost everybody up, right? To
Yeah,
do the
everybody
test.
was tied up except for McCready and what's his name? Uh,
Well, they killed the guy that was in charge of the kennel because he
yeah.
thought they killed him, and then they McCready and the one guy's the only people that weren't tied up. Everybody else was tied up. And they were doing that blood test, and they were like saying that well, this thing doesn't like fire, so I'll put a flame to everybody's blood and see what happens.
Hmm. Which is one of the best scenes in the movie. If you've never seen the movie before, it's such a tense moment because they know very little, and the one thing they do know is it doesn't react very well to fire or heat at all. So it could legitimately be everybody because everybody's alibi is kind of shifty.
Yeah, and it's not like a movie where the audience knows who it is. Like even as you're watching, you have no idea.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
There's no hints or anything. I've heard theories on about how you can tell who it is, but
Oh, kind of like the whole Blade Runner thing where they have like a little glint in their eye or something.
yeah, where I guess in this, whoever's currently being taken over, their eyes don't reflect any light.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I feel like that'd be really hard to do, so it's probably not true.
Well,
Plus, Windows is wearing glasses.
there's only one thing. Yeah, there's only one scene, and I think just the way it's lit, there's no light reflecting in that guy's eyes.
Hmm.
But then in every other scene, it is.
Like I said, fan theory, schman theory.
Yeah,
Wait, was this before or after they find McCready's clothes? This was after, right? After
I
they
think this is before.
before they tied everybody else into the experiment.
I think so. That would kind of make sense because, like, well, why isn't he tied down? Because we found his clothes, but then they found out it doesn't really make sense because his room is like way far away from that stuff. He's
Yeah.
like in that little shack apart from the actual station.
So they do the experiment. They test. What was it Windows? He's fine. They test. Um, I can't think of his name. I wish I knew these people's names. They tested Windows. He was fine. They tested somebody else. They were fine. And who was the other guy that was locked? That was tied up with Bennings? The one that actually um, was the thing.
I
Mm,
believe it was.
It was another guy with white hair, wasn't it? Or no? Who was it?
No, you didn't have.
Or was it Windows? No, no, I don't think it was. I don't remember his name.
uh, no, it wasn't the doctor guy. Or was it? The guy, the defibrillator scene later on.
No, yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was him.
Mm.
Was it this Fuchs? Is that his name?
Who was it?
Or Fox.
Yeah.
I think that. Let's see. That was him. I think it might have been him. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was him. He's the guy whose like head started leaving his body.
Yeah, he's like the every actor. You see him pop up in just a bunch of movies.
Yeah, but so like when they're testing the blood, and we get to the last guy, you can tell that because he starts shaking.
Yeah.
But when they show his face, you can tell that like
It's a little bit more
the
gaunt.
yeah the creature is just like okay, there's no need for me to pretend anymore. So just this body goes lifeless,
Yeah.
and he's just sitting there shaking. It's pretty creepy. And of course, we have more awesome visual effects with the eyes start bleeding and the eyeballs start poking out,
Yeah, it's super gross. It's just
and
Yeah.
starts to
then
like
like
convulse and everything.
yeah, then like that. I guess it starts to contort enough to get out of the chair, and jumps up on the ceiling. And when he comes back down, like the head just splits in two, and he eats the other guy's head.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah,
Now, who was the body that when they did the defibrillator to? Whose body? Oh, that was no. Whose body was that?
that was the. I think it was Vance.
Oh, the guy that got killed.
Hmm.
They try to save him, or they do the defibrillator, and his torso, his upper torso, or whatever, just turned into a mouth with sharp teeth.
I think that was a little bit before.
Was it before?
Because the more I think about it, I think we skipped a little bit. Because when they think it's McCready, he gets stuck outside.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, let me back in. They're like, well, what if you're the thing? He's like, well, that's kind of a good point, but please let me in.
Yeah.
you know?
And he's the one that decides to do the test because of that.
Yeah, like he gets in anyways, and they're like, well, he broke in, so he must be the thing. But I forgot what he did. It's not, he
Well,
didn't have the flamethrower. I know he held him hostage. I'm trying to remember like what he did. Oh, he had dynamite.
he's the one that killed the guy that had the chemical. Because he was trying to kill McCready.
Yeah.
That's when they did the test, and that's when that horrific scene of the eyes bulging out of Vance was, or
No,
not Vance, but Fuchs.
no, I think that guy. No, that's where we get the first really big thing of the thing. Like he comes in and has like the dynamite or whatever, and that dude, I guess, has a heart attack, but turns out he was the thing, and that's when the defibrillator scene hops in because
Okay.
Yeah.
they thought he had a heart attack, And he's like, "Oh, I got him, Monch." Just
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not even like the. It's like he's pressing the paddles down on the chest, and it's like the entire chest just caves in,
yeah, it
and
splits
then
open
there's
like a
yeah,
balloon.
and
and
then
he
there's
gets
like
becomes
teeth inside that close up and cut the doctor's
Uh,
arms off.
that's so ridiculous. Like when he pulls his stumps away and it's like the bone and the sinew just hanging everywhere. Oh my goodness,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
it is
actually
so
a.
ridiculous.
That was actually a someone that it was really missing their arms, and they had a mask on of that actor
Oh
Oh
really?
shit,
when he pulls his, yeah, when he stands back up with no arms.
it's insanely gruesome.
It is.
Like I don't wince or anything, but man, it's disgusting. Cause like he's screaming and his arms are just like all chomped off.
All right,
And
I
of
got
course that leads into the next really good special effects scene is when the guy's head comes off
Yeah, like well,
and
everybody's
grows the
paying
spider
attention to the
legs.
guy with no arms, of course, trying to like help him and stuff. And
that's when that guy
as that's ha-
beside Bennings, I think, right, starts
yeah.
changing.
Well, no, no, no. This is just that the whole testing scene is a little bit later, but like as they're trying to pay attention to that, that's when the head creeps away.
Yeah, the head comes off and it's upside down and like
It's got like a spider legs.
6 or 8 legs come out of the neck and it
Yeah, because
basically and it walks
they
away.
flamethrower the body, and they think they got it, but the head gets away.
Yeah.
So that's one thing like you gotta be fucking kidding me.
He's got a point.
After that little thing, they does that thing disappear? Or do they actually kill that? I can't remember.
I I think it gets away. It goes away, but I think it comes back later.
I think he gets away, and then that's how that guy from the testing scene. That's where that comes from.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I guess when he was like away from the group, that's how he got assimilated.
So after that shit happens, with they finally witness firsthand. Well, not first. Well, everybody sees what the thing does. 2 people are dead, or no, 3 people are dead. And then what else happens after this? Is that when they?
Mm, I think that's the testing scene, isn't it? Like right after that.
I thought they did it like before. Like I thought he did the testing. That's when the guy's head leaves his body,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what happens there. Then like that's when he gets fed up and they starts testing the blood. You know.
I thought he did it while. That's why he changed because they did the blood and he hits that one person's blood, and like the blood like transforms into something, and then that guy sitting tied
Oh
to the chair.
yeah, yeah. The guy that gets like I guess infected or assimilated while he's there because he's like right beside him. He's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, and that's when his head leaves his body and stuff. They
Yeah,
kill it. They use a flamethrower on him,
yeah, yeah.
but,
Like, yeah, I
but the
think it
head
burns them both.
creep. Yeah, the head creeps out, and then that's when that the guy's like, "Gentlemen," he's like, "I know you've been through a lot these past few hours or whatever, but I'd like to not spend
Oh,
winter tied to this fucking chair."
yeah, because that's when they find out that after that little bit he escaped and everything,
Yeah,
and he just went fucking
and then they
crazy.
go look. Then they go look for him, and then they go.
I think they go outside, don't they?
They go somewhere. I thought they went like they were like, "We're gonna blow everything up," so they're setting charges.
Um,
Or is that before? Or am I
yeah,
going?
they go outside, they're looking for him and stuff, and they find out that like Wilford Brimley is building some kind of spaceship out of parts from the helicopter and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. The helicopter doesn't get destroyed or anything. That's why they couldn't escape because they used parts from that to build like a UFO or some garbage.
Yeah.
Right.
So they see that they can't use the helicopter, and Wilford Brimley's vanished with his diabetes. And then is that when they start looking for him, or they're like, we need to. This thing hates being warm, so let's blow everything up.
Yeah, that's when they just go full fucking crazy and just like fuck it.
And then
There's
they're
a,
like down below somewhere, right?
yeah,
And
they're
that's
under the
what,
station.
yeah, that's what Wilford Brimley is. And he kills its windows, right? He like shoves his fingers into his face.
Yeah,
Oh,
Was it Windows?
yeah, it was
I want to say it was
it
Windows,
was
the guy with the curly hair and the beard.
that was
Was him,
Gary.
wasn't it? Gary, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good scene too, where he puts his fingers.
In his face.
Yeah, just it's just under the skin,
Yeah. Oh
Just
and
man.
and you can see like his finger, and it's real creepy looking.
but then like shortly after he turns into like a big monster anyways.
Yeah,
And then wait, are we missing like another creature? We got the one where its head comes off.
Yeah.
Or no, wait, or is that the?
Well, I know like as they were putting dynamite and stuff, there's that the that's when we find out that Wilford Bramley was also the thing all along,
Yeah,
hmm
and he turns into like the mega monster, and
they blow
Kurt
everything
Russell
up.
lights the dynamite and chucks it at him.
Blows everything up. And then he sees um Keith David,
Yeah.
and they
Oh yeah, that's actually at the end of the movie. That was fast.
that movie's not that long. Like it really jumps. As soon as the shit hits the fan, they really.
How long is this movie? 109 minutes? Yeah, that's nothing.
yeah.
That's barely feature length, really.
And
I'm thinking the only other, I guess, it or creature that we missed was when they're outside and they're burning that body,
oh yeah,
and then that one guy drops to the snow and he starts to like transform.
Oh
oh
yeah, and he kills
shit,
himself.
Yeah, he sets himself on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't. He just doesn't want to assimilate because that's when they. Oh yeah, that's when they find out that you don't know you've been assimilated with or anything.
Right.
Like even you would know that you're the thing,
But I think it was the only other one we were missing.
which is terrifying, by the way.
Yeah.
so then Keith David and McCready meet up,
I like how
and
he
they
doesn't
were
have a
like,
name. He's just Keith David.
yeah, I can't remember his name. Let's call him Keith David.
Child.
Yeah, Childs. And they were like, you know, across from each other, and they were like, I guess they don't know if both of them are the thing or one of them is the thing, and they're
Yeah,
like, what do you want to do? And he's like, let's just sit here for a while, see what happens.
it's such a manly conclusion because not only do they not know who's who, but if one of them did turn out to be that way, it's the best way to play the cards.
I don't think it's McCready because he did kill Wilford Brimley, and I want to say like if you're like the thing, like you don't want to kill one of your kind.
But you would do it to survive, and that's the all that thing did was
I
do what
guess.
it could to survive.
So what's your like? What do you think happened at the end? Like, do you think they just both died of being cold? They just froze to death,
I
or you
think
think
after
they
the
actually got help? Or
I think after the credits, we saw both those guys at a shawarma place, just
Yeah.
yucking it up.
and there's having breakfast somewhere. Man, that was crazy. I didn't think I'd get out of there. Yeah, me either.
Yeah, diabetes,
Diabetes. Wilford Brimley comes, sits down. How's it going, fellas? You're alive. Well,
I'm here, fellas, with the
I gave
time, the
that thing
power, the
diabetes
diabetes.
and let me live.
Yeah, they
Well,
get my monthly nebulizers.
I know it sounds cheap to say it's better just to not know what happened.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, a movie that leaves things to the imagination at the end, or has the balls to keep it ambiguous
Yeah.
Right.
without, fucking it up, pulling it off well. Just leave it at that.
You know what? I've never met anybody that's disliked the thing. To be like, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's like, yeah, I fucking hate the thing. Now the remake of the '80s thing, yes, but
Well,
not the
see, that's
thing
not
from
even a
the '80s.
remake though. That movie
Yeah,
is
that was a prequel.
garbage.
It's like a
Oh, was it a prequel?
yeah.
See, I
No,
never saw it.
no. Listen, that movie does not know what it is because I feel like halfway through that production, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's make it a prequel so we won't piss anybody off."
Yeah, because it takes place at the Norwegian base.
Supposedly, I mean, having one guy with an accent doesn't really make it all that Norwegian. Let's just put that out there.
Right, but they went back and they basically recreated everything from this movie at that base.
See,
Basically, it's like
that's what
shot
I'm
for
saying.
shot, and they're like midway through, and like, all right, the last 20, 30 minutes of it.
No, no, I meant like the base itself is
Oh,
completely a copy of the base from John Carpenter's The Thing.
oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This movie was meant to be a remake. Then halfway through the production, like, oh, let's make it like a twist that it's a prequel the whole time.
Stupid. Y'all remember the
It's so
gang
lazy.
thing
Because it
part?
ends, yeah, it ends with the helicopter chasing the dog.
Yeah, whoop de fucking do.
Yeah.
Like we didn't need to know what happened. You know, we could use our imaginations. We saw what it could do.
I can make a better assumption of what happened than what you guys just filmed.
Yeah, no kidding. And they made a lot of really like weird absolutes, especially when I guess the one that comes to mind the quickest is that axe in the doorway or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, oh no, just leave it. And it's like that seems really fucking particular. Like, come on.
Yeah. Y'all remember
Not
the
such
video
an
game
afterthought.
for it?
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
I remember playing it.
I did too.
yeah, I know.
I
I
thought
was
it was
there.
okay. Oh yeah, the
I
thing
was.
started chasing me. I just ran from it.
Yeah, that game was trash. All you
It
do is
was.
unlock doors.
Yeah. You really couldn't kill it, if I'm not mistaken. Like I would shoot it or whatever I had, and then it would get right back up. And there's one time where I was like not locked in the room, but I just like stood there in the room because like there was like two things right outside the door. And I was like, well, nothing I can do.
You remember when the thing turned into a slasher flick?
What is it?
Remember when the thing turned into a slasher flick?
Oh yeah.
The thing's just outside the door. Just starts to break it down.
Oh, man, fuck. I think I still have it somewhere for like when I had the regular Xbox. I mean, it was trash. Now it's trash, but at that time I thought it was well still trash. But I played it.
Yeah, there was an episode of the X Files that was that was like I guess supposed to be like a thing type episode.
Didn't they have All right, which is the better Alien movie, The Thing or Alien?
That's a tough one
um,
there.
well, I mean, they both have aliens in them, but I feel like the setting uh, makes the
They're both
difference.
deal with like isolation, kinda.
Yeah, yeah, I guess what you're saying. But the alien is like the xenomorph alien is more like a visible unstoppable force, whereas the thing could be anybody.
Yeah.
Like, could you picture Dallas from Alien just turning into something like that?
So they haven't made like a crossover of Alien versus The Thing. Requiem.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Well, see, I don't know why they wouldn't have done a maybe a prequel where not a prequel, sorry, a sequel where the thing gets out into a more populated area.
Yeah, like see, they find McCready and Childs. Like either both of them are alive or just one of them is alive, and the one that's alive has the thing in him. See, I wonder if like he did want to do a sequel and it's never happened because you know like I said It only made like 13 million in the U.S.,
Hmm.
which is fucking ridiculous.
Has John Carpenter ever done a sequel to any of his movies directly, not just like producing?
Escape from
Escape from
uh,
LA.
Escape from yeah, L.A. I
Yeah, I'm talking about movies that actually exist. I don't count that one.
think. No, I don't think so. I know
Yeah,
the
like I
last
said,
movie he did.
the reason the movie was, I guess, bombed in a theater was critics didn't like it. And of course, it came out around the same time that E.T. came out.
Oh wow, that's when aliens started to be family friendly.
Right.
Congratulations, Spielberg. You fucked us again.
Corman's like, man, it wouldn't have bombed if I got some boobies in this. Some alien boobies.
Also,
Corman's not that kind of.
ETT.
Yeah, Corman's not that type of movie. It's really it doesn't have a physical form really. I could still make boobies. Get out
Just
of here,
make him.
Corman. Yeah, get out of here, Corman. We can have an alien. Just have the face as the boob. Yeah, fucking E.T. Overrated movie.
Ruining everything. Why can't there be like classes like Nookie or something?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
backing me.
Fucking wheelchair clip. uh, that's the best thing Paul Rudd's ever done.
Yep. The last
He's not
movie
even in
John
it.
Carpenter did was The Ward, I think, and I heard that movie was shitty.
The Ward.
I remember it
Yeah,
coming out. That's about
it
it.
was like 2008, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was The Ward. It was like the last movie I think he directed.
That was Wes Craven.
Was it Wes Craven?
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check here. Just to... No, no, you're right. It was John Carpenter.
But was that his last movie, or did he do something else after that?
No, that was it. Before that was just Ghosts of Mars with Jason Statham.
Jason. Ah, I forgot. He did do Ghost of Mars. That was horseshit.
That's the most sincere thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Like, what made me laugh was Ice Cube's like, "Come get him, motherfuckers!" And he just starts shooting him. Oh man, that
Oh
movie's
my god.
trash.
Well, before that it was Vampires with what's his name?
James Woods. Oh,
James Woods, yeah, and one
Yeah,
of the bald ones.
I like that one.
that was all right, but then he made a lot more after that. I'm pretty sure made. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he made like 20,000 of those vampire movies.
I understand one of them had Bon Jovi in it.
Oh, that was a sequel. It was like Book of the Cross of the something.
I forgot that Carpenter also did another remake of Village of the Damned. I
Yes.
forgot that he did that. The only Carpenter movie I have not seen is Prince of Darkness.
You never. That's it. That's one of my favorites.
I
I've
think
not
I
seen
have
Prince.
that one. I have like a Carpenter like pack of movies. I think that's in there. I haven't
What's that?
watched it either.
What's that? The Mouth of Madness or whatever, or
Yeah,
has
Animal.
Sam Neill in it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of that. I have not finished that, and I have not seen Prince of Darkness. Oh wait, let me see. I don't think I've seen. No, 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 no. I take it back. I have seen Prince of Darkness. I haven't seen um, Mouth of Madness. I have seen the Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
Did you hear about Overlord bombing in the box office?
Oh yeah.
No.
Isn't that fucked up?
Well, nobody wants to go see. And plus, it came out after October, so I don't know.
Yeah, like I
I've
said.
heard nothing but good things. It's like, goddamn, people, you'll give fucking the make. Well, no, I'll take that back. The last couple of Rock movies have bombed. I think.
Well, you mean like Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Yeah,
Man, I was a sucker. I went to go see Skyscraper in the theater, like a schmuck.
I. I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and leave it there.
Look, I came for the Roger Corman titties. I'm gonna get my Roger Corman titties.
Oh man, yeah. It's like some of these movies they'll like they'll be like number one, and like they're not even like good like the Twilight movies. And they weren't they like high grossing movies, but they were fucking god awful.
Yeah, but
That's
like I
usually
said,
the case, yeah.
yeah, but like I said before, this Overlord, there's no marketing for it.
Really? I've seen commercials for it like crazy, especially on the
Yeah,
internet.
like I haven't. I've seen that. The only time I've seen the trailer is when I went and searched for it
Well, maybe
and
their
watched it.
demographics only for like, straight white males from 18 to 35, and we forget that you're actually like 50 or whatever because you've seen every movie in the fucking theater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
I think I mean, I didn't see a lot of advertisement for it, so
I've seen on some
I think that's
sites,
probably what hurts it.
but then again, I don't really watch TV, so I don't know if it's really aired on TV. Like like Bad Times at LOL. I heard bombed, but I heard mixed things about that movie.
It's got a 7.1 on IMDb.
I still want to see it.
I'd like to see it. I mean, the last two movies I saw in the theater were The Old Man and the Gun, and I saw that Bohemian Rhapsody biopic.
Are they good?
Um, Old Man with the Gun. It's pretty good. It's definitely an old-fashioned movie. Very
Yeah.
old-fashioned movie. It feels like a movie that would come out at the same time as like Bullet or something, or like The French Connection.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody's okay.
How was the guy that played Freddy?
Oh, if he doesn't at least get nominated for an Oscar, it's a
Oh,
fucking loss for the Academy. He's certainly the best part of the movie.
oh shit! Really? He did that? He did that well?
It's phenomenal. Like him alone, the movie just feels like it was tinkered with a little bit. You can definitely feel like the band had like a say in it because nobody else has anything like nobody else in the band does anything wrong or causes drama except for Freddie Mercury. I feel like that's a little bit of a a little bit of like a falsity or something like that.
I've heard Freddie was not drama, but he was a queen. Like he
Yeah,
loved
like
drama.
yeah, but for sure. But everybody just takes everything with a grain of salt. There's no real drama. It's like, well, I guess that's just Freddie. Ha ha ha. I'm just like, come on. There's no fucking way people would react to that the way they did.
How would you think if the guy that was supposed to play Freddie did it, Sacha Baron Cohen?
Well, the movie would have been a like different direction.
Perhaps I heard that's why he left. He was like,
I feel like that movie might have been a little bit more interesting just because I didn't find out till later that Bohemian Rhapsody is PG-13.
mm-hmm.
I feel like the movie could have been much more edgier than what it was, and they brush over a lot of stuff. I know there's a lot of time to like a lot of years to cover, but I feel like it could have like dug deeper into like just the drama and psyche of the man, more or less. You know.
I see. I heard the why Sacha Baron Cohen left was because he was like, yeah, he was like the movie. I don't know what the final product was, but he said why he was filming or read it or whatever. He was like that Freddy dies midway through the movie, and then like he's like the ending was like how the band overcame. He and Sacha Baron Cohen's like, I'm not up for this. He's like, if he's dying in the middle of the movie, no, like
Oh
Queen, you don't
no.
think about Brian May and the other guys. You fucking think about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's how the movie plays out. The end of the movie is the Live Aid concert from '85. So I don't know where he got that.
Well, maybe they changed it since he left. They're like, oh fuck.
I don't know. Rami Malek, he does a fantastic job. He's he's in it to win it, man.
That's good.
But anyways, I don't want to wrap anything up. I'm sure you guys have a bunch more discussion, but I actually have to go. Unfortunately, I have work very early in the morning,
That's fine.
and I guess my final thoughts on the thing. Please is an absolute recommendation if anybody listening has not seen it. 1982's John Carpenter's The Thing is an absolute horror classic, from head to toe, bumper to bumper, whatever you want to call it. It is a fine piece of cinema, and if it hasn't already been like claimed by the Library of Congress for preservation, please God, someone like nominate it. It's fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would definitely put it on my top 10 if I ever made a top 10 list, which I don't think I ever will.
It's such a touchy subject when you get to like top tens of movies
Yeah.
because everybody has not only different tastes, but mood also dictates whether or not you're going to be, uh, you know, up and ready for watching a certain movie, even if you like it.
I think in a future episode we should do our top 10 of our favorite horror movies,
I'd like that. I can do that.
and
Yeah.
then maybe like we'll
I'm
say
making
it, and
time
then
to
we'll
do
like
it.
kind of give a reason why, like a little like why we like it.
Yeah.
So we just don't say, hey, I like this, hey, I like this, hey, I like this, and I like this. Just we'll give like a little info about why we like it, or maybe when we saw it the first time, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds fantastic. I like it.
Yep. So I guess go ahead and let you get off here.
Yeah. To everybody, thanks for listening, and thanks to those guys for the shout out. Like I said, unfortunately, I do have to go. You guys go ahead and discuss what have you. And
All right.
hopefully, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks
Yep.
to
Next week.
everybody.
All
All
right,
right.
man.
See ya.
All right.
So I it really bothers me that we have not seen Suspiria. Like it sucks that we don't get some of those movies down here, and if we did, it would be in the Regal Theater.
Right. Yeah, I figured it's just, I figured before it even hits theaters around here, it's just gonna be on Amazon streaming
Yeah,
because it's a Amazon movie.
it just sucks. Like it's crazy that they don't play Suspiria, but like they had the Raid, which is an Indonesian action film, and then they had Green Room, which I didn't think, which wasn't a very wide release either.
No, very good movie, just wasn't wide
Yeah,
release.
seems like a lot of the not so wide releases are the best, and they're always a lot of indies because I guess since they get more creative freedom.
Yeah, they don't have a big studio pumping money into it.
Yeah, but
Get,
they also do
getting
have
getting the last word on it.
they also have a con because like sometimes it's budget restraints sometimes. But yet they most of them make it work. Is there anything else you would like to talk about, man?
No, I think that's all I've got. Like I said, I didn't. It's just been a crazy week.
Oh yeah, it's really worn us out.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over, but like it's gonna be busy for
till the
Christmas. But
yeah till the end of the year, it's gonna be busy.
yeah,
But
we should I'm sure we'll have something planned special for a New Year episode.
yeah, I'd like to do a Christmas episode also.
Yeah.
Maybe do like just do a Christmas movie theme episode where we just discuss all the, what I'm saying, not just do one movie.
Oh, you know what I forgot to give y'all for Thanksgiving? Blood Rage.
Oh,
I totally slipped my mind. I will do that next Thanksgiving.
yeah, we'll do that one next year.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten about it.
But I have really nothing to say. I guess I'll just go ahead and again patreon.com/a podcast from beneath.
Also, yeah, I also like to thank the Poe and Grimm podcast. Is that it?
Yep.
I like
The
to thank them
Poe
for
and Grim
mentioning
podcast.
us on their episode. We
Yeah,
really appreciate it, guys.
they've got a really good podcast. Also, I definitely recommend you check them out.
But I also like to thank for everybody who's listening or will listen. You know, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell everybody you know, tell your dogs, tell them to listen
Tell
to
everybody who's listening.
yeah, tell everybody to listen to a podcast from beneath.
Yep. And I guess that's about it. So I guess we'll go ahead and cut this one off here.